I don't really know what exactly to say about the whole Epstein saga. I am mostly recording this for posterity, I guess. I'm not really sure. The thing is, I hear a lot of people saying, okay, well, I guess that's it then, as if there was never any evidence to show some of the things that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in. And this perplexes me. What perplexes me even more is that there seems to be some people out there who are okay if they think, well, Donald Trump is using the list or the clients. I don't want to call it the list anymore because they're just using that to turn it around and make it into an air quotes thing. Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators, okay? They're using it as that's what we're worried about. And frankly, I don't really care if we ever see a quote unquote list or not. If the list gets arrested and perp walked and put on trial for what they did. The bottom line is, I don't care whether it's Barack Obama or George Bush or Joe Biden's puppet master. I do not want to live in a country where my elected officials, public officials, corporate executives are doing what they do because they're blackmailed. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care. I am not with that. I'm not with that program. I would rather see us go into, a couple of years of martial law while we put these people on trial and then come out the other end of it and have fresh elections with people who don't bad touch minors and innocents. Okay. This is not acceptable to me. And I'm creeped out at people that I used to like and respect who are acting like this is okay. Stop it. Okay. It, it just, I there I really have very much checked out of politics. And if you see some of my videos over the last year, I'd say you'll see that I just can't participate in this charade. I know a lot of people are fine with it, they're down with it, not me. This charade is just not happening for me. It seems so fake. Let me just put something out there. We know what Jim Comey was like, okay? We know what Christopher Wray was like. They were slippery, slimy, creepy people who we knew were lying, but their lies were so slippery and slick that most people didn't even pay any attention to it, right? Here's what we know. Cash Patel, Dan Bongino are a million times smarter than these guys. Pam Bondi, I remember watching her when she was working on the Trump impeachment and thinking, don't let that Southern drawl fool you, because she was very smart, very bright. And I just kind of felt like, you know, these people are smarter than this. If they wanted to put out a believable story, that wasn't believable to everybody, but that most people would accept, even if grudgingly, they can do better than this. When my daughter was 12, she could use her iPad to come up with better videos than this video that they've given to us. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absurd garbage. Like, come on, this is the FBI. This is the FBI that is the top, they have the top forensic labs in the world. And you're telling me that they accidentally put out a video with 1 minute missing and they're telling us this absurd, ridiculous story? I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure that there are already people all over the internet telling us there is no system 50 years ago that reset for 1 minute and cut out every every day. I doubt that that's true. I've seen many videos going back, really old police videos, CCTV. I've never heard anything like that. I've seen some where the time is off back before we had sort of GPS time setting, but that's not what we have here. So this is ridiculous. All of these stories are ridiculous. And they're purposefully ridiculous because Cash, Dan, Pam all too smart for that kind of dumb nonsense, okay? So if they're putting out this garbage that is not even remotely believable on purpose, then what is it for? I don't know the answer to that, but I have some theories. One of my theories is, imagine that you're a leader of a particular state, and you're coming to the White House. And maybe you've been accused of having some involvement in the Epstein thing. And on the periphery of your visit, all day, every day, the only thing people are talking about is Jeffrey Epstein. I just want you to sit with that for a moment and think about whether or not that kind of mind game would be useful if you are trying to get something done and someone's not being cooperative. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but it could also just be saying, ultimately, I can tell my people anything and you're protected, or I could tell them everything and you're not. And it doesn't really matter one way or the other because I need you to do what I say. We don't want World War III. Okay? I could see something like that, meaning that this garbage that was put out, it wasn't for us. I don't think that anybody in the MAGA world, Cash, Dan, Pam, or Trump, thought for 1 second that the core of this movement was going to believe that or accept that. So if they knew we weren't going to believe it or accept it, and by the way, I don't, okay? Even if I'm wrong, I still don't believe it or accept it. If it wasn't for us, then it had to be for someone else. Do we believe that the timing is coincidence or do we not? I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Everything, every step of the way, even back when Cash and Dan were saying he killed himself, I could tell you for sure, these were not believable stories. Come on, you're telling me that the FBI director, a former Secret Service agent, people with this much experience, like they can't tell a better lie? Lawyers? Cash is a lawyer. I don't think Dan's a lawyer, but you correct me if I'm wrong. That these people can't lie better than this? I mean, come on, lawyers are some of the best liars, psychopathic. In fact, I would really like to see lawyers out of our government, if the truth be told, because they're so dishonest and so good at lying, so comfortable with it. But this is the best they can do, is sit there looking like hostages, telling us, trust me, when they know better. They know better. We've been burned too many times by trusting appointees. Why would they even say something like that? It's not for us, guys. This is not for us. Obviously, it's not for us, okay? So if it's not for us, then we have to consider maybe what it is for, and it has to be for someone else. Okay, so who is it for? And if you think about when these things started to boil over and percolate over, it didn't start right away. First, it's like they're telling us, and I think they were going down the road of disclosure, but they needed to pull it back to accomplish something in another region. I do believe, remember when I believe it was Pam Bondi that posted, and I'm sorry, I'm just not able to go pull up messages and put them on the screen. I wish that I knew how to do that. But that Pam Bondi posted that they had to redact national security stuff. Well, what national security stuff? I mean, are they just talking out of their ass? I don't believe that to be true because, again, these are not stupid people that we're talking about, yet they're communicating with us in the last couple of weeks as if we're stupid people. And if they're not stupid people and they know we're not stupid people, then the message must not be for us. It's being filtered through us. Okay? It has to be that. And I'm much more comfortable with that being used to take care of something outside of the United States for the good of the American people, although it must be as temporary as possible. Meaning, I'm not concerned with whether or not Trump is telling the truth to people in another country because he does not serve those people. That's ultimately going to come down, and I believe that in many cases, we don't know what's being